Alright, good morning guys. We're out in my shop again today. It's just me today. My wife is acting as my camera guy. So she'll be behind the camera for us. We're going to be putting some LED whip flags on the machine. They're just some cheap ones I found on Amazon. Omu is the brand. We're going to see how they work out. You know, sometimes you get what you pay for, so we'll kind of see how it goes. I went with the fat whips. I liked that, we'll take a look at the bracket here. I like that the mount they came with, the wire comes directly out the bottom. And they're just a quick attach onto the stud, so you don't have to plug and unplug wires when you're taking them off and on. I'm pretty sure it's the same most places, but out here in Utah, if you go to the sand dunes, you have to have a flag. It's supposed to be red or orange and 8 feet off the ground. So we're putting some flags on. I think next weekend while we're in St. George, we're going to go to Sand Hollow, which is sand dunes. And we're going to need the whip flags. So we're going to try and get this done today. First thing we need to do is pull the seats out of the machine. We're going to walk around the other side here. I've already got them pulled. So if you got a two-seater, you just got to pull your passenger seat. If it's a four-seater, you got to pull both passenger seats. We're going to take off the cover in between the two back seats back here so you can access it by the motor. And we're going to take all the panels off the side, opening up your center tunnel all the way forward. So you can wire the power for it directly into the battery, which is behind your passenger or back passenger seat. Mine's covered up there. But since we have a switch pod, I'm actually going to connect my power clear at the front to my switch pod connections. Give me a little button to turn it on and off with. It comes with the capability of doing your turn signals. So one of the whip lights will light up orange for the direction you're turning. They'll both light up red for your brake lights, and they will light up white for your reverse lights. However, they do not include any instructions as to what wires to connect to for that. So you got to kind of figure it out on your own. I'm going to do a little research and see if I can figure that out. If not, they'll just be LED whips that light up whatever color I tell them to, and that'll be good. So I've started off already. What I'm doing is I chose some cheap mounts on Amazon. They were like $13. They just go to these two bolts right here on your rear roll cage. You just take the nuts off, slide them on, put the bolt and the nuts back on. And they do have a little bit of a tilt for adjustment. If we look at the other side, I've already gone ahead and mounted that one. So it's just a little bracket that it drops into and bolts on. The whip flag stays there, and then when you want to take the whip off the machine, it's a quick connect. You just lift up on that connector, the flag lifts off. You got a little dust cap. It'd be nice if that dust cap went the full depth. It doesn't, but you know, you get what you pay for. But that wire always stays there. You don't have to plug and unplug wires, let you tie it up real nice. It's just long enough that the connector that plugs in drops just underneath that body panel, so your connector's underneath. And then as far as running the wires goes, we went ahead and just routed it down right through that body panel. And then underneath that body panel, we just zip tied to the factory wire harness along here. And when we got down here, it was easier to take the air filter cover off so that we could access better. But there's actually a little wire channel you can fish the wire through right here. They'll keep your wires tied up and neat there in the engine compartment. And then that just runs over and you'll run it right into your center, right into the tunnel. And that's where you'll connect into the next wires. We'll show you that here in just a minute. Alright, so I've got those wires ran, the couple coming from the light whips right here. They come into the center tunnel. Little slip together connector, you just thread the nut over it to hold it together. There's a box, but it's actually right underneath here where you can't see it. And that gets your wires up to right here. They're just long enough on a four-seater you could hit the accessory post to wire it there, because you don't want it directly to the positive on the battery. They would drain your battery even when you're not using the machine. They're just long enough to get there because I actually have my circuits and everything mounted behind this piece for my switch pod. I actually needed to extend my power wires a little bit. Couldn't find anything on what wires to tap into for the brake function, the reverse function, and the turn signals. I went ahead and took a guess. I tapped into the wire from the street legal kit that ties into the brake switch. That gave me the brake pedal function. I don't remember which wire in the main harness that ties to, but it was from the Ryco street legal kit instructions where I found that initially. And then I just went ahead and tapped into the left and right turn signal wires off of that street legal kit headed for the back, and that gave me the turn signal function. I do not have the backup light function. That's okay. I can always turn them on and set them to white if I really need it. And I'm planning on doing some pod lights for working lights anyway that would negate this. These are probably only going to be on if I'm at the dunes. I don't see myself wanting to run them in the woods. Going through trees and whatnot, hitting things wouldn't be very good. They are mounted on a spring base, so they can flex and move. So hopefully that'll keep them from breaking if I do catch a branch or something. But I don't see myself wanting to run them in the trees and hit them constantly. That doesn't seem like a good idea. We'll get the machine fired up here and kind of show them to you, show you a few of the features they're capable of, and just kind of show you them working. And we'll go with that. Alright guys, got the machine all put back together here. The whip lights are done. Just doing some testing here so I could show it to you. It's got a little app that connects and interfaces through Bluetooth. You can go in and change modes, light colors, how fast it moves. We'll play with that a little bit, see if we like it, do a little review later on. I was talking about wiring in the turn signals and brake lights. I did the brake lights first, tested it, and it worked. And then I wired in the turn signals, tested those worked. Now that it's all done, I'm noticing that when I hit the brakes, they light up amber and not red. When I was testing just the brake wire connected, they were lighting up red. And with the turn signals, they were lighting up amber. If I do the turn signals and press the brake, it'll switch between red and amber. So I think there's something going on there, the way that the street legal kit manages the brake lights and turn signals. It's not sending the right signal to it with both wires connected. We'll see if I decide to dig into that or just leave it as is. I don't know that it's a feature I really care that much about. But we'll let you know a little later on how we like them. We'll get to test them out next weekend. You'll see them in the video when we're down in Sand Hollow. So stick with us and let's go for a ride.